All right, here's try number 2. So today I want to talk about a song and just give you guys like another little nugget, and that is, in my opinion, like got to be one of the best songs ever made. And as far as I know, it's not widely known, so it's kind of cool to share it. So the group is Wye Oak, and the name of the song is Fortune. It will give you chills. It's incredibly well written. It's not too long, too repetitive. It's not too short. The lyrics are like a poem, but it's also performed incredibly well. If you listen to other material from the group, you'll know that all the musical choices, the vocal tone, guitar tones, all the elements, everything is extremely well thought through and intentional. It's not a mistake that it sounds good. It's like very intentionally written, and yeah, it's just, in my opinion, it's one of the best songs. What I can add to it is just kind of like, how do you play the bass line? So we'll talk about that in this video. Before we get into how to play it, let's talk a little bit about like the tone settings. So first up, I'm actually going to be going into a compressor. And so the compressor is set to just basically smooth out my loudest notes and my quietest notes. What's the reason to have this in particular for this song? We're going to be playing about halfway up the neck, and you're going to notice that the bigger strings are much louder than your smaller strings when you're that high up the neck. It's not really as much of a problem if you're playing down low, on the first handful of frets. But once you start moving up there, it's good to consider maybe a compressor for your recording. Next up, we have Amplitube free bass amp, and it's actually through the guitar amp, but there's a bass amp setting in it. It's just a solid state bass amp. And here we have a low initial gain and then running into a higher end volume, and that's going to make sure that we're avoiding any distortion from the bass and just getting a nice smooth round tone. After that, then I just have a final equalizer, and that's set to just roll off my deepest frequencies and my highest frequencies, stuff that's below kind of below and above the human ear threshold. We're just getting rid of those frequencies. Next up on the bass itself, I'm playing this one with a jazz bass, but they play it with a P bass, just FYI. But I don't own a P bass, and you can get almost the same sound with a jazz bass. So what we're doing here is we have the volume for our neck pickup set to the max, our volume for the bridge pickup set to the minimum, and our treble tone knob set to the minimum. So there's no tone. So this is what it sounds like. And you may or may not be able to hear that, but later we will do a recording with the bass in it where you'll be able to hear it very well. So let's now talk about the notes before we play along with the song. And there's a couple different sets, chunks that I kind of think of the song in. You have groupings of 4 chords, it seems like. And so I kind of have 4 chunks learned. All right, so the first chunk, and I probably actually, let's see. Well, we'll just try it without pressing record yet, because I want to record with the song. So let's see if you can hear the bass through just this preamp over here. All right. So that's our first set of notes. So we have, what are we up to? 8 on our big string. And we're doing 5th. And then you're doing a hammer up from the 7th up to the octave. And then walk back down. And my microphone's a little bit in the way of my finger there. So that's your first chord. Then we drop down 2 frets, so now we're on the 6th. So we're not now playing in this like doing another octave work, we're kind of more looking at the ninth, and we're kind of holding that idea, even though the root note has moved. We're holding this idea from the first set of chords, if that makes any sense. And so in the context of this new chord, that 6th fret on the bass string, it's kind of like a ninth, kind of an idea that you're looking at right there. After that, now we move to the most difficult section that you need to learn. And there's kind of two different ways that I'll play this. The original that I can hear very clearly is that. And so that we're back up to the 8th fret, but now we're on the 2nd string here. We're going to jump up an octave, do the kind of, that's like a similar thing that keeps happening, right? A recurring theme. We're going up to that note. So that's once again like a ninth kind of an idea right there. And then we're just going to go backwards in the key in a pentatonic, right? We're not playing every single note. We're doing the pentatonic right there. And then the last sequence of notes, you're going to reach over with your middle finger there and play those notes. So just kind of looking at the run, that kind of that sequence there. There's our final thing before the chords start over again. Now, one thing I kind of like to add is sometimes doing more like an actual kind of like chord up to a ninth instead I'll do, it has a very similar vibe, but it's cool to have that variation of this note versus your octave note, if that makes any sense. It kind of establishes more of a ninth feel when you play that 5th instead of the octave. And then sometimes I'll do let's see if I can't figure it out real quick here. I'll use this in the case of the chord that we're on right here, right? I'm dropping to a major 7 in relation to home bass. That's a 5th. I'm just going back to the root there. So sometimes I won't do that little high bit. Sometimes I'll walk back to the root there, and that's just kind of create some variation through the bass line, but that's not necessarily played in the album. That's just kind of a little extra something I threw in there. For the main chords, we have our 6th fret on the big string. Oh, sorry, we don't start there yet. We start on the 2nd string. And so we're just playing those 3 notes there, but we're emphasizing different chords at different times. And despite the fact that it's a really familiar group of notes, the way it's played, I feel like, is more unique. Not the only time I've heard those chords played in that variation, but it's definitely rare. It's like way, way rare to play the chords in that manner. And I like the way it's emphasized. So that's your chorus there. And so now we kind of have an idea of what that song looks like. So let's go ahead, let's press record now. Let's play along with the track, huh? it was really just to show you guys the song and just kind of share how awesome it is, and then also let you see the bass line. It took me a little while to kind of figure it out because there's different ways you can hear some of those like shorter notes, and you're like, what's actually happening right there? And so there's a few different ways I played it. I was kind of moving down low sometimes, but after listening to it for a while and then watching some live footage, I was able to piece together how it seems like it was actually recorded. And what's cool about it is it actually made it more natural feeling, because I was used to be, what did I used to do? Doing like a, and that's a big move right there. And you can never like pull it off like super ultra clean because it's just too much lateral movement. If you're a faster player than me, you know, I won't speak for you, but I wasn't able to pull it off perfectly clean. But walking backwards using more kind of like the scale shape, that feels much more natural. And there's a natural pause right after you reach that note, so then you can easily move to the next little sequence of notes. So it was kind of cool watching the live version and being able to kind of steal the bass line positioning from them to piece it together fully. So then I get to share that with you guys. Definitely enjoy the song. I listen to it all the time, and it still gives me chills all the time because it's just such a good song. It's crazy. But yeah, enjoy your holidays, and talk to you guys later.